the number one fear in humanity after death is public speaking. And stand-up is the hardest form of public speaking, and yet I don't fear it. So what does that say about me? It says that I am insane. I used to think it was about being comfortable with wanting the attention, but I think the ability to take the stage is about controlling fear. It's not about not having it.
Today we're talking to a man of many firsts. He's the first person to do a stand-up comedy show about wine. He's the first person to bring back Roman hydration drinks. We're hoping today we're going to give him another first, which is to have a $1,000 bottle of wine, a Decem, with a $5 gay time. I'm Jason.
And I'm Trent. We're here on an unapologetically unprofessional, unfiltered wine journey. We're saying here, Jace.
Our saying is drink more, try more, learn more. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Of course, we're talking about Merrick Watts. Merrick.
This is great. Thanks for having me.
It's been nearly 2 years since you've been on.
Really?
And a lot's happened. We want to talk about that. We want to talk about Idiot's Guide to Wine Volume 3. We want to talk about Posca. Firstly, I got to get something out of the way. I was conflicted with you coming on. And I was conflicted because my wife kept on saying for the past couple of weeks, man, Merrick's back on. Freaking awesome. He's so good looking. And she's talking to her mates about it. And I was like, there's too much DILF energy coming out.
Big DILF energy.
Yeah. So
that's it. That's it. Because I'm cougar food now. See, that's what I call myself. And my friends call me it as well. Is that I'm at that age because I turned 52 in a few days. And I am now very squarely, my market is drunk mums.
Yeah.
That's my market. That's who I speak to. And I love them for it. Yeah. So, it's my career. I've been very fortunate where I've seen the evolution of my own personality, my own audience. That years ago, it used to be mums coming up to me embarrassingly and saying, "Oh, sorry, do you mind? My daughter wants a photo with you." Yeah. And now it's the daughters coming up and saying, "Oh, this is so embarrassing. Excuse me. Can you have a photo with my mum?"
Jeez.
So there is that change and that evolution, but it's great. I'm still a good looking guy and I'm still throwing it around.
Well, that's the reason why I kicked her out. She's not here right now. So anyway, just wanted to get that out of the way.
She'll be back. Don't worry.
They always do.
She's probably never left. She's probably just standing outside, just waiting.
She's just peering through the window. Look, we always start off with the icebreaker questions. We did it back when you were on last time. There's a refreshed version we want to ask you. So we'll pass over to Trent.
Okay. Most memorable wine or most memorable wine moment of 2025?
Ooh, that's a really good one because it was actually quite recent. It was last week. I was hosting a wine tasting with a group of people and I found an old bottle of Rockford Black Shiraz.
Wow. Yeah.
It was first made, it was 96 vintage. It was a Magnum, but it was disgorged in 2004. So it's been 21 years in the bottle. Anyway, I found it in my cellar and I thought that would be a real cracker to open up. I had some other Rockford there as well. And as you boys know, I am a huge fan of it. But I literally said to this group of people, it's probably like 30 odd people there. I said, I have got absolutely no idea how this wine will drink. I literally just found it hidden in the back of my cellar. And so it could be amazing or it could be awful. And popped the cork and it smelt like cork taint. And I melted in front of everyone. Oh my God, it's corked. Yeah. But it didn't have any bleed through the cork. But I could smell a little bit of cork taint. And I went, oh no, and I've left it too long. This is my fault. This is kind of embarrassing because I've talked it up massively. But there was a somm there, Roma, and he's French and he's also WSET qualified. And he said, no, this is good. He said, it's fine. So he decanted the whole Magnum into 2 smaller carafes and then we poured it out. And of course, the cork taint just blew off. Mm-hmm. And then it just started to evolve very, very quickly from a disaster into a very remarkable wine. Wow. It just had, for some reason, it just deteriorated the cork with age and it was thrown back into the wine. But as soon as it was decanted and then poured in the glasses, it blew off and then it was just like layers and layers of complexity.
Remind me, is the Black Shiraz the sparkling one?
Yeah.
So did it still have bubbles? Or
yeah. It still had a remarkable amount of effervescence to it. I was really quite surprised because when I saw that, I was like, when it poured out, I was like, yes, it's not flat.
Yeah.
And I've had aged Black Shiraz before and it was just astonishing. I had it at Rockford a few years ago. So I was talking a big game as I like to do. And then I had a massive internal crisis and it turned out to be really quite a remarkable wine. So it was both simultaneously the low light of my wine year and then straight away into the highlight of my year.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Next one. What's the last glass of wine that you had?
Last glass of wine? Yeah, well, I haven't had a glass. I've had a taste. I think the last bottle of wine I had was a Pikes Traditional, which I really love. Riesling, of course, from Pikes in Clare Valley. So that was the last.
Cool.
But having said that, it was in a mix of a lot of other wines as well. So I don't want to go into it. There was a Gamay in there, had a Vermentino made by Golden Grove in the Granite Belt.
Yeah.
By Ray Costanzo there, and it was absolutely delicious. So I had a bit of a mix of wines yesterday, not going to lie.
Fantastic. Next one.
Go. This is supposed to be a short segment that I'm making incredibly long with the answers. It's not exactly rapid fire, is it?
We'll riff with it. What's the food that instantly takes you back to your childhood?
Food? Spaghetti. Spaghetti, because my dad used to make it every single Sunday night. We'd have spaghetti bolognese.
Spag bowl.
Yeah. Yeah. And my dad would always have a bottle of red wine with it on a Sunday night, which is conversely to me because I don't drink on Sundays. I don't drink during the week. If I do, I only have like one glass or something like that. Yeah, it reminds me of spaghetti bolognese and him pouring a little bit into the sauce, a little bit of wine into the sauce.
Then the next one is, if you could have a bottle of wine with person past or present, who would it be?
That's a really tricky one. Look, I think at times I would have wanted to say somebody, quite famous and modern, but I think I would probably like to now have a bottle of wine with a Stoic. So one of the, original Stoics or a philosopher or something like that, just to say that I've met them and because I'm becoming more and more interested in Stoicism and philosophy. So I don't know, maybe like, we'll just say Seneca because it sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good.
Because I know nobody else is going to say that.
Okay, last one.
Yeah.
If you could bottle a moment from your life like a vintage, what year would it be and why?
2020. 2020 because it was a defining year for myself as a person, and that was the year that I completed SAS Australia. And it wasn't so much just the TV show and completing it. It was actually about understanding my depth and understanding who I was as a character. So it was character defining for me. So I look at that as like a sliding doors kind of epoch moment of my life, which is I went into 2020 one person and I left it a completely different person by the end of the year.
Because of that SAS
largely,
experience.
yeah. And the training for it and the preparation for it and then the exit from it and then the way it just rewired my brain. And so I looked at it, as a very defining year.
Do you think that's something that people need to do, kind of push themselves to?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think anybody who doesn't do it is robbing themselves. I think every year there's a great thing. There's a couple of great sayings. There's a masogi or a moshishogyu. They're both Japanese terms and they're slightly different in what they are, but basically they mean like an annual pilgrimage or a challenge or doing something that takes you out of your comfort zone, that each year marks that year as like, this year I did this thing. And it's really good. It's a really, really good thing to do because it gives you something to look forward to and something to look back on at the same time. But each year, when you do something difficult and you do something challenging, it will change you. And I think that's really important because if you're changing, you're growing. If you're growing, you're not dying.
Yeah. Wise words.
Well, a little bit like a Stoic philosopher, like a Seneca, I would say.
What would be your name if you were a Stoic philosopher?
I don't know. I haven't given it that much thought.
That's it, Jess.
Is that it?
That's the 2025 version of the Wine Up Icebreaker questions.
No, they're good. They're good.
What did you call it? You got to be a soggy. What is it?
Misogi.
Misogi.
Misogi. Misogi, yeah.
So it's kind of like doing challenging stuff through the year. It feels like you've had quite a few of those this year. Yeah. There's been lots going on.
Always.
One of them is Volume 3 of the Idiot's Guide to Wine. Yeah. And we met you on the very first volume and we're thinking that your wife must be super proud.
She's not. No, you'd be mistaken believing that. She doesn't care.
How many shows has she gone to?
I think she's been to volume 1, maybe twice, but the second time was definitely reluctantly. I think she's been to volume 2. And then this morning, we're having a chat about volume 3 with a friend of ours who's going to see volume 3. And Georgie was asked if she was going along and she said, no interest. No interest. She's a som too. Yeah. Like she works in wine. Yeah. Has got a real interest and she's got a great palate. She's very, very good at wine. She's studying Westset 3 at the moment. So would you want to come and see somebody do a show about wine? See, the blocker is there, it's me. So,
yeah. But you're the husband. She should be supporting you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you said that, not me. So you'll have to answer to her now.
That's the theory behind it. Yeah.
I think with Georgie, I think she's just like, it's just like his work. Georgie doesn't get too carried away about it. It's she's very, very happy when I have success and she's very, very happy when I do these things. But it's just like, I don't know, she's just not, she doesn't fangirl.
Yeah.
Not like your wife, who's a massive fangirl.
She's just behind the curtains right there. But anyway.
Why you just internalize the pain, right?
So you don't consult her? Like, because she's a somm in the industry, you must.
No, I do. Like before I started writing the third volume, with each volume, of course, there's 6 different wines. So there's 6 new varietals, and they're quite not unusual varietals. You guys would be familiar with them, but they are not things that you grab and go. They're quite interesting grape varietals, all grown here in Australia. So I'll consult her. I'll say, what do you think about this wine versus this wine? She'd give me her opinion and why, and then would look at how they range out over the flight. So starting with the whites and ending with the reds, how that looks. So I definitely asked Georgie about that. And she'd give me she gives me really good guidance with that.
Okay. And so if we think about, like, we saw volume 1, we saw volume 2, we saw the evolution, like volume 3, without revealing too much, how has it changed? What's the evolution on this one?
I mean, look, it's the same. It's a similar format because it tastes 6 wines. So the format's kind of the same. And there's I follow the format, but these wines, I always look for a story in each one. So the first one was like the classics. Yeah. You know, they're very familiar wines. They're, internationally recognized kind of varietals that everyone knows. Then the second one was like, okay, let's get a bit quirky here and let's do something a little bit different. So I threw in an orange wine, which for a lot of people in the audience, the majority of the people that were in my audiences for volume 2, it was probably their first crack at an orange wine, and some of them didn't like it because orange wine, as you know, is very divisive. Yeah. But I wanted that point was about showing people wines that they wouldn't have seen before. There's a real purpose behind it, and this one is about saying these are some of the lesser known but amazing varietals, but you can have them here in Australia. Right. Yeah, so there might be very, very, like 1 or 2 of the varietals are really only grown like in one other country in the world with any great success. And we have them here as well. So they're not super kind of, supermarket style wines.
That's piqued my interest even more. Wow.
Yeah, they're good. I don't want to give it away.
Yeah,
they're good.
The wines is one thing, but then the jokes that you kind of interweave through it. How do you keep it fresh then for each volume?
I think the shows kind of write themselves in a way. I've spent more time writing volume 3 than the other 2 volumes combined. I've spent an incredible amount of time rewriting and rewriting and rewriting and rewriting. And the reason why, I think, is because I didn't want to just be retelling the same jokes. Yeah. It needed to be different. And I wanted to I had to put more work into the third one. And I often think it's probably like, Return of the Jedi. Like you've got to close it out. Yeah. Because I probably won't do a 4th version. I think I think 3 will be it, and I'll do something. Right. I don't know what I'll do after that. Yeah. But at the moment I'll do volume 3. I'll tour it next year, and I'll be touring volume 1 and an international version next year as well. So I'll be ping-ponging around the world with that. So at the moment there's at least 3 or 4 countries proposed for next year. So I'll take that and do a little bit of touring of that.
How do you approach that kind of comedic aspect to it in terms of writing, though? Because each audience is quite different. Yeah. I'm guessing each state and city is very different as well. So you're trying to get something that covers all.
You'd imagine that, but I don't really care. No,
it's about me. It's about me.
I'm not going to second guess that. Like it, I don't care. You've already paid for it. Yeah. No, look, there is a little. I'm very, very fortunate with the amount of material that I've got around wine. So I've got 18 wines, 18 different types of wines, and so to write an international version, I can pull apart from the other shows. Yeah. I can get material that maybe I had to leave on the cutting room floor for the first version because the show was too long, and I go, oh, it's good, but you've got to. It's sometimes referred to as drowning kittens, which is like you've got to get rid of the things you love because you can't have too much. So I think they should be able to write a version that will translate internationally because wine is an international language. Yeah. If I make it more about the wine and less about me and less about Australian nuances, then it should be all right.
Yeah, I just want to kind of like focus on that comedy piece. You start up as a stand-up comic. How did you actually get into that? Because I see that as one of the most daunting things to ever do. Yeah. Being in front of a crowd, trying to make people laugh.
Yeah, the number one fear in humanity after death is public speaking. And stand-up is the hardest form of public speaking. And yet I don't fear it. So what does it say about me? It says that I am insane.
Look, you're wired differently.
Yeah, I think it literally is that. It's not even about being, I used to think it was about being comfortable with wanting the attention and being an attention seeker, which, most of us comedians are. Most people are in general. But I think the ability to take the stage is about controlling fear. It's not about not having it. And that's what I think, that's another thing I learned over the years of self-reflection is that I have fears like everybody else, the same, but I just am able to process them and control them in a different way. So I moved through them quite quickly. And it's the same as like going on stage. If I'm having to walk out on stage, I do breathing exercises and get myself ready. And then, there is a little bit of butterflies, but then bang, it's gone and it's straight into it. You need to train yourself. But at the start, the first gig is pretty terrifying.
Well, how was the first gig?
Oh, it was amazing. And I can say that because no one was there. No one listening would remember that. I mean, I think at my first gig in, when was that? It was, my God, it must have been like 1994. And my dad and my brother were in the audience and they were watching me. And I think they were really surprised that I didn't just crash and burn on stage. But I had a good gig. I only had 5 minutes. And I loved it. I was like, this is great. This is fun. This is the vibe.
Who did you look up to when you were growing up in terms of comedians? Like, I was thinking during that time it was like the DGen, Fast Forward, Comedy Company. So. Who are you kind of looking at? Yeah, very much so. I mean, I was one of the most amazing experiences of my life was being a huge fan of the Working Dog guys, Frontline, as you say, particularly. I just love their work. And DGen, I was just addicted to it when I was a kid. I wouldn't leave the house until I'd see DGen, and then I'd go out after that. So I was a huge fan of theirs, and then I got to work with them in my career. From about like 2005. I started doing some stuff with them, I think, and then I did the Hollow Men with them, of course, and still work with them from time to time now. So that was an enormous, moment in my career, is being able to work with my heroes. But for them to live up to the expectation is phenomenal, because unfortunately, you idolize people and then you meet them, and this has happened to me a lot when I was working in radio. Then you meet them and they would really disappoint you, and you just go, oh. But then, when you meet your heroes and they're not disappointing, it is amazing. So Billy Corgan, he was amazing. I was told he was really difficult. He was incredible to interview. I loved interviewing Billy Corgan because he's so erudite and just so deep. David Attenborough, that was a really incredible moment. So get back to the comedy heroes. Yeah, absolutely. In Australia, the DGen guys. Overseas, I always loved Chevy Chase. I thought Chevy Chase and Bill Murray were just gods. I loved John Candy. And I think that was a really rich era in human history for comedy as well. Like the 80s and 90s, we were making Steve
globally,
Martin.
we were making incredible, you think about this at the time, like, we've got Marvel comic films now, which are just like massive. But there was a time and a place in human history in the 80s and 90s where some of the biggest box office sellers were comedies.
Yeah.
And they would absolutely kill it.
Police Academy.
Police Academy.
Three Amigos.
Is it
Three Amigos.
Yeah.
And they were different and they were funny. Yeah. I love Stripes. I thought was very, very funny. Animal House. Yeah. It was just an incredible period.
How do you think comedy's evolved from then till now, and who do you kind of follow now in terms of comedians?
Yeah, comedy now is in the hands of everyone, and I don't necessarily think that's a good thing or a bad thing. It is just what it is. I think that comedy has evolved to the point where, because of social media, anyone can do it, but it's about how long they can do it.
Yeah,
right, and how long that one trick on TikTok or that one trick on Instagram. How can you consistently go beyond that one trick? Because everyone's got one trick. Right? But it's about saying, well, where's your depth? Because if you're just doing one type of joke and just repeating it and repeating and repeating, eventually you'll run out.
Yeah. But
you've got to have depth. And I think that's where the social media thing is, like, everybody is able to see just that snapshot because there's so many people creating content. But and I think that's diminished some of the capacity for professional working comedians, is that there is so much online that you are now competing with people who are not doing it for a day job. But this is your day job.
Yeah.
And you are competing with not like 30 or 40 people in the country. You are competing with thousands of people right around the world for people to do funny stuff. So it becomes very difficult as a content creator, as a professional working comedian to cut through. So one of the good things about stand-up comedy is what you're saying, right? That ability to, and you see it sometimes with people who are big online, and then they go to get on stage and just go, ooh, how'd you go with that, you reckon?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, and you go, yeah. It's like I watch it and I don't take joy from it as much as I just acknowledge that that person has not really, and sometimes they do brilliantly, don't get me wrong. I've seen some people who have had a huge social media presence and then go onto stage and absolutely destroy. But there's other people who just go, you only had that one trick.
Yeah.
And then when you go on stage, there's no depth.
It's not the same. Yeah.
They keep reinventing
you're not
yourself.
a professional working comedian. It's different. You've got one thing. So you're one-dimensional.
Yeah.
So stand-up is just so raw. And I think that with the, and with AI, I think you will see a stronger desire for people to come and see stand-up, stronger desire for human connection and
Correct.
knowing that that person in front of you is a real moment. It's not replicable.
Yeah.
It's just that one time. I
Yeah.
love that.
One of the people I love to watch at the moment is Key and Peele.
Yeah, great. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
but the wit.
So good. And the writing is brilliant.
Yeah.
It's so Key and Peele, the timing is just so sweet. It's like bang, everything's always really well done. It's really, really well done.
If you think back 2025, right? Like this concept of going live and you don't know what the hell's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
What's that one moment that you just were surprised by, but was pretty damn funny reflecting on it as you're on stage?
There was and this is my favorite moment is when something's not going right, but then it actually becomes so good. Like I love that moment. So I was talking before about the Rockford, right? When something feels like it's going south, but then you can literally, stop the jet from crashing and soar.
Yeah.
It's an amazing feeling. I think there was a gig I did in Newcastle. I had a couple of times this year where like somebody's wines weren't poured. And it's like, it's a problem. And then like before you know it, you break down the show. So I have to kind of like address it. So you stop doing the show and then somebody says something and it's interactive. And before I know, I'm just laughing. I'm laughing so much. I've forgotten where I am in the show. I've forgotten what wine we're talking about or where we were in the show. And the audience, we're just riffing and having a great time. And that's that moment that can never be replicated.
Yeah. It wasn't prepared.
Yeah. It wasn't prepared.
Happens.
It was just something dumb happened, something didn't go right or whatever. And then it's just like you just change it and then you move on from it. There was another one. I went to Cairns to go and do a gig earlier in the year. I was doing volume 1 and the power went out and there was no power. And I was in an old an old tanker. So like they used to store oil, an oil tanker from the Second World War, and they turned it into a theatre space. This massive tanker. And there's no light in there. It's completely dark. It's during the day. The audience is all sitting around. There's like literally got somebody's phone to try and light up my face. It was hilarious. But because it was the adversity there, it actually made it a really unique experience.
Yeah.
So sometimes when things go pear-shaped, they're an awesome opportunity to create a unique experience.
Yeah.
And it's growth mindset straight away. It's just like, bang. Let's make something special of this. And that, like it happens all the time. I did comedy in the Vines this year and at one point it was pouring with rain. Everyone was undercover. It was fine. But it was just like, it galvanized the audience. It was like, rather than say, it's going to be raining for the next 15 minutes. It was like, it's raining. How good's rain? And it was like, yeah, we love rain. You're mad. You're mad.
Yeah. I think that's that fearless nature you got. You kind of dive into it and then see what you can do about it.
Yeah. And I think it's literally, it's just how you frame it.
Yeah.
Like, is it a problem or is it an opportunity?
Yeah.
It's what it is. It's just a change of environment.
Yeah.
If you allow it to be a problem, it will be. If you try your very best to turn it into something, not just, kind of correcting it, but making it better, that's a great opportunity. And that's what thrills me is when it's like that.
But that's for you, it's conditioning also, exercising that muscle where you've kind of been through those situations before.
I love it. It's it's addictive.
So I think for everyone, like the first time, it's not easy, right? But then if you push through it, it's going to be easier and easier and easier.
Yeah. And it's like...
Because you can do it.
Yeah. And that's it. Exactly right. Because the muscle memory is there. You know that it's like the challenge is actually the really enjoyable part because otherwise it becomes a recital sometimes. Yeah. I don't think my shows are ever a recital because they've got really nice movements to them. You got 6 wines and it's always different. People have different reactions. So it's not a monologue. It's very interactive, and that's why I love. This is my favorite type of show to do. Is very interactive like this, as opposed to just doing a solo show talking about my childhood or growing up. That doesn't interest me.
We did want to chat a bit about your mentality because you do so much, as you said, and it's a question I always had in my mind because we're juggling different things as well.
Yep. How
do you sustain the balance? It's very easy to get focused on one thing and then you forget. Others.
Balance, it is. It's a trick for me because I do a lot. I've got an events company with Grapes and Mirth. I do an Idiot's Guide to Wine. I do corporate work. I do, bits of media, radio and television. And Posca takes up about probably 80% of my diary time and my calendar time. It's a full-time job. So Georgia always jokes that I'm the only person she knows who has 3 full-time jobs. But the fact of the matter is, how do you get it done? It's sacrifice. You have to sacrifice, and you have to be prepared to know that you're going to sacrifice before you do that. You can't enter a huge volume of work and commitments without letting people down unless something has to give.
Yeah.
So you have to decide before that what that is that's going to give. And it in my world, and this is a sacrifice for me, is a lot of social time and a lot of personal time. I ring fence time every day for myself so that I can prepare myself so that I can then give every effort to everything I do. So, with the exception of weekends, I don't really drink during the week, but I wake up at 4:30 in the morning and I am training by 5 a.m. So, and I usually exercise for, at the moment, between 90 minutes and 2 hours, 2.5 hours, just depends on what I'm doing that day. Some light, some hard training. And then I kind of prep up and I get to work pretty early and I finish kind of late. So what I miss out on is I do miss out on some family time. But I see that my goals and my objectives are for my family. So I justify that and I hope that I'm right on that. I don't get to spend very much time, if any, with friends unless I'm working with them at the time. It's very difficult to get me to things because I'm often traveling. And I don't sit around, I can't watch television and stuff like that. I read, but I just try to maximize every minute I can. So if I'm on a plane, which I'm on a lot, if I'm on a plane, I'm either asleep, which I value as a proposition on a plane, but you'll never see me watching a movie on a plane. That's not going to happen. I will be either fast asleep, meditating. I'm always meditating on a plane. If I've got my eyes shut, I'm almost always meditating. Every spare chance I get, I meditate. And then I'll work or read. I'll read something that is beneficial to me, whether it's, a book about business or a book about Stoicism. Yeah, I'm reading a book at the moment called The Fourth Pillar, which is about modern philosophy, and it is awesome. It's brilliant. So I try to maximize my time, whatever it is, but the sacrifice is my own.
Has that always been Merrick Watts, or is that something that you've kind of grown into? Like, was this Merrick Watts at 20 years old?
No. Merrick at 20 was a hot mess. And even into my 20s and 30s, I was still a bit of a hot mess. It's definitely, a consequence. I look at the volume, the work thing. It was actually when I was filming The Hollow Man, which was in 2008, and I was doing full-time radio on Nova in Sydney. And so I would have to get up at about 4 a.m. and then I would go and do the radio show, then I would go and film, then I'd have to learn my lines for the next day for the next day's filming. And so I was literally just getting like 6 hours sleep, nothing else but work and sleep. And that was it. And my boss at the time, a guy called Dean Buchanan, said to me, you can go and do these two things. He said, but the expectation is that you will deliver on both of those things. And you can't do that without sacrifice. So what you're going to have to sacrifice is your time, the way you do things. That has to come out of it. It's not coming out of me. It's not coming out of the radio station, and it's not going to be coming out of those guys when you go to film. So understand that that's a sacrifice you make. So that was, I was first made aware of that understanding that you can't, that something has to give in 2008. But I think the current disciplines I employ are definitely since 2020.
And part of that is sleep a compromise?
Sleep is a weapon. Sleep is a weapon.
So you're waking up at 4:30. What time are you going to sleep?
Well, that's it. I go to bed. I'm in bed before 8:30.
Yeah. Okay. So that's important.
For me, any time after like that it's junk time. It's like get sleep. Sleep is the weapon. I try very hard to get a minimum of 7, but I try to push to get 8 hours sleep during the week because it's just like the energy is so much better.
Are you those people that monitor your sleep?
No, I don't.
But if you've got a routine, then it's pretty much covered. Then it sounds like,
you get into a routine where I naturally wake up at 4:30 now anyway. Yeah. So it's kind of annoying on weekends. Like this morning, I wake up and it's a Sunday morning. I wake up and it's 5:15, and I go, "That's my sleep in. 5:15 is my sleep in.
Wow,
this is ridiculous.
5:15, crack a Posca.
I did. I had a Posca and I went back to bed." I did.
One of the things I was thinking about is with all these things going on and like we've been talking about it, how do you sustain motivation? Like it can be draining doing that routine and going 120% all day, every day. Motivation's
not a problem if you have belief. And it's not about belief in being able to do it as much as it's belief that you're doing the right thing as well. The goal is so important, not just to you, but to the benefit of others, that it's important that you fulfill it. So therefore the motivation is there, and particularly when things are difficult, because things are always difficult.
Yeah.
I've been on a very steep learning curve of understanding so much about deliverables and the understanding that you have to be accountable. Like, I have to have very, very high accountability with what I do, with Posca, with Grapes and Method, with everything I do. I always like to have everything the best I can get it. And that is exhausting and it's draining, but the motivation is there because I believe that the goals are worthwhile.
Yeah.
So I don't get up, I don't have to motivate myself, because motivation, somebody said the other day, and I believe this, and I can't remember where it was, but is, motivation is nowhere near as good as discipline. Discipline will give you better motivation. Motivation won't necessarily give you discipline. But if you discipline yourself and say, it is uncompromising in my morning that I do this. So every morning I wake up at 4:30 a.m. and I hydrate straight away. And then the next thing I do is I have a cold shower for 2 minutes. And I don't like it. I don't like having a cold shower, but I do it every single day without compromise. Because then and then I go through my routine, and then my brain starts to understand that this is an uncompromising person that continues with these standards. So then I become part of my habits. That's like James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. It's very, very simple. You become the result of the habits you keep. But if you keep those habits, then you will always be motivated because it's a discipline now.
Do you think it's a way of rewiring your brain?
100% it is. 100% it's rewiring your brain. And you can. The great thing is you can consistently rewire your brain. It's like every opportunity, like I say, like every opportunity I have, if I'm not doing something, I'm meditating. And I love it. I love it. I love meditation in all forms because I feel like every time I'm doing it, I'm doing something beneficial for my brain.
Yeah.
And so therefore, when, particularly in high stress environments and high stress moments, if I've meditated before it, it's not as hard. So sometimes I look very, very calm and very almost dismissive. I think sometimes I have to say to people, don't think that I'm being dismissive or not interested or not engaged with what is happening. I understand the brevity and the situation, but I'm just sitting there and thinking about it through because I'm calm, because I don't
You're not jumping up and down in fear and stuff like that.
It's because it's a lot of it, exactly. You don't jump up and down because there's, and this is a Stoic philosophy too. It's about controlling your emotions, but I say to people that, and I said this to my son last week, the most dangerous person in the room, in any situation, is the person with the greatest emotional control. Whoever that is, whether that's a gunfight, whether it's in a business situation, the one with the greatest emotional control is the winner. And that's what Stoicism is about. In some ways, it's about that kind of, that philosophy of being able to control your emotions.
Except when a Buffalo Bill comes around, Ben thinks, go out the door.
That's the problem. See, wine, that's what
point.
always falls over. Because wine kills your inhibitions. And you just go, no, I should definitely have a box of Cheezels and then a Buffalo Bill. I'm like a Labrador when I drink. That's why I'm serious. I have absolutely no control when I drink. I don't do stupid things. I don't go and jump off roofs.
Yeah.
For me, my lack of control is really evident in what I consume. I just will eat anything I feel like. Yeah. And there's I'll go back and forth. I go, I can eat salt and vinegar chips, and then I can have something sweet. I'll have a chocolate, and then I'll have popcorn. And it's like, what are you doing? And and then I'll drink more wine.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't drink during the week, because I would be a wreck.
Yeah. So you're doing so much with your life. Posca, Idiots Guide to Wine. What's the end goal with everything, though? Do you see that in terms of 5 years' time, 10 years' time?
Yes, I've got very, very clear time scales for my goals and where I hope to see them come to completion. So it's kind of set those and try to work towards those timelines. But for me, then there'll be another thing. I won't take anything on now, right? Because I don't need any more. That would be foolish. That would be too much. So I know my capacity and it's very, very high. So I'll just stick with the things that I have in front of me now. I'll complete those. And then it's like, I won't go into retirement. Yeah. What I'll do is I'll do something else. And I don't know what that is yet because I don't have the mental space to figure out what that will be. But it goes back to the Misogi thing is it's always another thing. You should always have another thing because if you're not growing, you're dying. So it's always another challenge. Next year I'll do Kokoda. I was meant to do it this year, but I ended up doing a marathon in Africa instead. But next year I'll do Kokoda, and then there'll be another hard challenge each year or personal growth. Sometimes a hard challenge is not necessarily physical. Sometimes it can be study. I think studying is very underestimated and advancing your qualifications is incredibly important. So I'd see that as part of that. So maybe the year after that might be, doing a qualification or not. I don't know. But it's always about challenge and growth and looking forward.
That's personal. And one thing that I've realized as well, as you kind of get older, you want to be more of service, kind of giving back. Is that something for you as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, the motivation to just make yourself wealthy or just make yourself famous is a really dumb thing. It's dumb. Fame should only ever be a byproduct of what you do well.
Yeah.
So if you're a remarkable, like, nobody cares about sculpture nowadays, but if you were a remarkable sculptor, several hundred years ago, then you would be known as, one of the greats of the Renaissance.
Mm.
But nobody wants sculpture now. But then the most famous people were sculptors. Michelangelo was a sculptor. They all had these, array of skills. They were painters, they were sculptors, they were designers, they were multidisciplines, they were polymaths. And that's what I try to be. I try to be a polymath and do all those, the different things that I'm interested in. But the fame should only be a byproduct of what you do well. And I think that's also the same with wealth. Wealth, if that's just your goal, just to have money, I would find that incredibly unfulfilling.
Well,
so if you do something that you believe offers something to humanity, it does give you that motivation, that drive. Like making people laugh is a great thing.
Yeah.
Making people laugh and feel good it's a really very rewarding thing.
You get a buzz from it, right?
I love it.
Yeah.
And I don't actually even have to necessarily be the one vocalizing it. I can put an event on and see other comedians making people laugh, and that makes my day and enriches my life. So it doesn't necessarily have to be me, but if I'm involved in that, it's great.
I've got a challenge for you. Next year, join Physical Challenge Asia. You seen that show? No, you don't watch it. Oh, you do watch it?
It's amazing. They're weapons. Everyone's so aggressively good at everything. You just go, what is this? It's like the Olympics, like a cross between the Olympics, Gladiators, and Game of Thrones or the Hunger Games. It's a combination of it's like they've literally just gone, let's get all of these ingredients, mash it together, and we'll host it in Asia, and it will be, everyone will bring it. And you just go, they really do. They really bring it.
So again, my wife watches it every night, and she's like, "Oh, Merrick would be great on this." I'm like,
"No,
enough with this."
No. Maybe some time ago. I don't know if current day Merrick would do very, very well on that show at all. I reckon he'd last about 11 minutes.
Yeah.
And that would be before they started recording.
Awesome.
Just to break it down, I'm going to do my this or that with you, but 90s version. So like a bit of nostalgia. Neighbours or Home Away?
Oh, I never watched either. Never watched either.
Kylie Minogue or Danny Minogue?
I've watched both of them. I've got to go for Kylie, I suppose.
Kylie?
Yeah, I suppose.
Rage or Recovery?
Rage.
Seinfeld or Simpsons?
Simpsons.
Fresh Prince or Friends?
Friends.
Meat pie or sausage roll?
Meat pie.
Chicken twisties or burger rings?
Oh, that's rough. Chicken twisties now, because burger rings used to be better. Now they're weird.
And last one, Spice Girls or Backstreet Boys?
Neither. It's a hard no. I've met the Spice Girls. I haven't met the Backstreet Boys, or maybe I have, and if I have, I don't remember it. But there's a lot of people I've met who are famous, so I just have not. I can't. I remember David Attenborough very, very clearly. I don't remember some of the superstars. I met Taylor Swift, and I forgot that I met her. I met her years ago, and then somebody said, "No." I said, "Oh." They said, "Have you met Taylor Swift?" And I said, "No." And I went, "Oh no, I have. I have met her."
Biggest star in the world.
Yeah, I met her years ago. I went, "No, that's right. She was really lovely." I completely forgot. But that was like 14 years ago.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that." I met her once, very briefly. She was lovely. I think it was Taylor Swift. Maybe it wasn't Taylor Swift. Maybe it was. I don't know that I'm the best person to ask who I've met.
Yeah. Notorious B.I.G.
Yep.
Or Tupac. Oh, this is true.
Biggie.
Wow. So someone said you like hip hop. I was like,
I do like hip hop. Yeah, I like hip hop a lot. I love old school hip hop, really, really old school hip hop. I really enjoy. I listen to that more than I listen to a lot of current hip hop. There is some current hip hop that I really like. I really like Australian hip hop.
Yeah.
But some hip hop that's the current scene, some of it I just don't understand.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it.
Yeah,
I just don't understand it.
They're just slurring. That's what
I don't understand. I don't know what they're talking about.
They're making noises.
I don't know. And like also too, I think the structure of the actual music, the beats and stuff like that are different to the way I like it.
So that is true. Well,